Update on the chicken coop. It's going along pretty good, actually. I mean, it really doesn't look like I've done a lot, but I've done a ton of small things. So, for starters, the nesting box is done. The lid is not fully bolted on yet. I've got to find the right bolts in my stuff. I'm sure I have some. I've got 10 or 15,000 different screws, nuts, and bolts, so I'll find something. That's the front. Whole new, almost entirely new floor. Sitting on blocks. It's all been reinforced. That nesting box is framed in like at the house. I got in the bottom flashing. I set up a break and made that side flashing over there. I still got to make the flashing for over there. We got a hole dug right here, thanks to my son-in-law. Not sure why he left the hole diggers in there, but at least I'm not going to lose them if I know where they are. That's the pole that's going to go in there, and that'll be the frame for the door. So, a little closer here. I put on just some ripped down PT. It was actually fence boards that I found on the side of the road, brand new PT. So I ripped them down. They've been in my truck for like 2 weeks. All around, anywhere I can. That just locks the chicken wire and 1/2 inch in place better, just to protect them. Make sure nothing can pry themselves in there. All the way across the bottom and around the door frame. Over there is going to get metal flashing, so I'm not worried about it too much. Even got the back over here painted. My second daughter did that for me. She's the only person that fits in there. Thank you very much. Could have did it with putting my roller on a pole, but what a pain. So once I get the door in, and I'm building a very special sliding door here. Once I get that in and get that piece of flashing in right there, then it's on. I'll tell you, it won't take, or at least it shouldn't take long for most of the coop. Well, most of the run. So I've got that board there for the back. I've got another one for the side over here, and then it's going to get wire across the top there to allow airflow. And then the front's going to get wired. There's going to be a door between that pole and that pole hole digger. 32 inches by whatever that is. I got me some lumber for that. That piece of lumber there will go across the bottom right there. And then once I get all that in, I'm going to paver the inside of it. I'm going to make my own concrete pavers. I need about $50 to buy enough supplies to be able to do that. I stopped at a construction site the other day, one that I had to look at to see if it was something I was going to be working on. That's still a maybe on whether or not I'm working on it. But in their dumpster, they had that 2x4, those two 2x4s, which are both full-size 2x4s. All three of those are full-size 2x4s. A couple pieces of scrap, and that 2x6. This bottom one's a 2x6. This is going to be my door. Hopefully. That's the idea anyway. I'm going to make, and I know I'm kind of overcomplicating certain things, but I am going to make a split door. so that the top half opens without having to open the bottom half. That way, we can just open the top half for throwing stuff in without having to open the whole thing and have the birds escape. Not that they can't jump out, but it's a little more difficult than opening the door and just having them run out. So that's going to be a sliding door, and that's something I've been doing for the last couple days, is cutting the steel, old bed frames. So I've got 2 pieces of steel pre-cut. It's basically ready to be installed. This here will be my stop on one side, and otherwise it'll just be a track. I'll have a piece of plywood in there. It'll mount something like this on the top, or actually it'll mount something like that on the bottom, so that right here I'll have a board that can slide back and forth. I'll probably make it out of plywood and reinforce it with a little bit of 1x. And it'll be operated from the outside of the coop via a rope and a spring. So they can go in at night and go outside, close up the coop without having to go inside. In the morning, you just go outside and release the rope, and voila. Now, I ain't got all that figured out yet. It's just an idea in my head. But, you know, it's always a journey. And sometimes when you're making things like this, you gotta have a little fun and experiment on stuff that you've been wanting to build anyway. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.